welcome. My name is Catherine. I am making an animated series for YouTube. Why? I don't know. For fun. No, to push myself and learn and grow and get to work with some awesome people. We have just finished the storyboard section. This was the last week for storyboards in the amazing Leigh Huddle. If you go to arthuddle.com, you can see more of her work. It was awesome to work with her, and I am so thankful because she really pumped it up. She really got things feeling more like a lived-in space and a lot of cool shots that I'm excited to be staring at for thousands of hours this year. Since the storyboards are done, we can do the color scripts now. The storyboard is like who and where, how, what, composition, what's in the frame, that kind of stuff. It's the first visual blueprint, as the script is the written blueprint for everybody and the storyboard is the visual blueprint. Now we're going to take another hack at a blueprint and do the color script, which is taking the storyboards and putting color on it so we can further develop the journey that everybody takes. And I'm really excited because color scripts, I've only done a couple and they're so one of my favorite things to do. Let me show you what's on my screen. The way that I learned in school about how to do color script stuff is you lay everything out, at least one frame for each shot. The most iconic frame from that shot. And then you slap some colors on. And that's kind of a general idea of what you can get. And then from there you can pick out the shots that really need more work and do a lighting key, or a key, which is a little more detailed. But how are you supposed to see the relationships between the shots and each other, the shots next to the different sequences, the different scenes, you know? I found this from Michael Kurinsky. These are lighting keys arranged into the color script. Frames that have been grabbed from layout, which is where they're organizing all the 3D stuff, since this was a 3D thing. They'll grab it and then they'll paint over it to kind of direct the lighting. So when we zoom into this and you see, wow, that's really detailed. No, we're not doing that. This is a lighting key. These are all lighting keys. This is so much work. But you can see that this is the start of the movie. This is the end of the movie. You can see like, oh, these sequences are related because of their colors. This is a new thing. This is kind of like the journey. Oh, something creepy happens here because of all the different lighting and stuff. And then maybe it's the hope and then the crash. And then, you know, you can kind of tell the visual journey. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in just to show you. These are beautiful. It's beautiful. What do you mean? It's beautiful. Look at that. Look at all the details. Look at that. They have blank faces because it's, again, just a grab from layout. So no animation has taken place. They're just setting the characters where they need to be, vaguely in the pose that they need to be in. You really get a sense of the lighting, the shadows, everything. These are lighting keys lined up. So that's what the color script is supposed to do. We're doing it to inform the next steps. We're doing it to inform what should the palette be for modeling and texturing and stuff. What should the lighting be for when we're doing the modeling and making our sets and all that kind of stuff, you know? We're doing it like this. I just put the rainbow on it to be eye-catching. We're not doing that. This is the whole first episode. This is the whole first episode from the beginning to the end. We're doing the ideas pass now, where if I have a thought about how things are going to go, we're trying to stay zoomed out. The things that we want to do are stay zoomed out. We're not getting too precious. We're not getting too detailed, even though I really want to. We are trying to touch every single panel here. We're trying to make sure that everything has been thought about. The way that I've thought about this so far is with the time of day. It's pretty important if you're doing outdoor shots to think about where the sun or the lighting source is. We know we're going to have these like muted colors. We got some like basic like sky monotone colors. It starts off before sunrise. And then I was like, oh, when he's going through the neighborhood, like the sun could be rising a little bit. And I haven't hit this with the color dodge yet, but then I got this scene in mind where there's like some rim lighting of the stuff on the people as the sun is rising. So then you kind of get into the daytime or whatever, but this is right before sunrise. So the light clicks on, we go to here, and then another light clicks on, we go to there. Starting out with that like time of day thing, it got me like, oh, okay, let's think about Geraldine's journey first, where she is here and she's running. She's running in sequence 5. She's got sequence 9. She's got the middle of 14 and 15. She's running. She trips on a rock and she falls. And then I was like, oh my God, if we use that light from the beginning, since this part of her journey is taking place at the same time as we see this, then that's kind of a key to that they're happening at the same time. I'm thinking like, oh, maybe a little ray of light could come down. A little cheesy, but whatever. A little ray of hope. And then she gets up and keeps moving again. And that kind of encapsulates our journey. It's almost like it was made on purpose. Then I want it to be darker before freedom, before she gets out and is like experiencing the world for herself. That is where we're at. Remember, this is just ideas. This isn't final. This is just an ideas pass where we're trying to get everything out so that we can actually develop it. So this is what we were working with to this. And it's all on one layer. The big thing that has been useful is this. In Photoshop, you can change the brush type instead of like making multiple layers and having to compress them or like do linear and all this kind of stuff with each layer and all this kind of stuff. No, we're just slapping it on. We're doing the brush. Before we were streaming, I was just going through with the color dodge to make the light actually stand out. This is with color dodge, and this is the same color and everything without color dodge. I'm gonna put on Zelda and chill because, as we know, that's work music is great. We're just gonna hang out and do that. Color dodge is great for if you're trying to add a light source into a scene. I don't really understand what it does. And then multiply is good for shadows. That is mostly what I'm doing. And we always want to have the background be a 50% gray, so it's not super dark and it's not super light, because that will affect your eyes. That's the other last thing. Highlight a little bit of her, and she leans up and figures out it's the rock. I kind of really like that, and I like the going from monotone to more colors, but it is sort of like, oh, the morning light is hitting everything, the day is starting, like that's, and it's misty because there's lots of fog. It's called Into the Fog for a reason, because we are in the fog. Ugh, I wish AI would like tell you what layer you want to be on or whatever, instead of like copying everybody's art. Oh my god, that's so much. Oh, I really just need 10%. You don't need too much. 5 to 10%, I swear. And it just kind of makes things glow. If somebody knows like the cool technical reason for that, please inform me. Give me this darker monotone color. I want this, and then I want the brush to be multiply. I wanted to push the shadows and stuff a lot more. She's a circle. We're thinking about light, I guess. If it's coming from this way, where would the shadow be? Is that something we want to develop right now? Am I too zoomed in? I am zoomed in to 100%. I'm already breaking my rules. Oh, but it's good to have fun. Something generally that we want to think about is when we are thinking about colors, if we're thinking about this in like blocks of things, the sky is going to be the lightest. because that is the light source. The darkest thing is going to be something upright because that is against the light. The ground is going to be, you know, this is the classic one. You can play around with all that kind of stuff or whatever, but that's generally how it's going to be. That's kind of what we're aiming for because the sets are going to be 3D, more realistic. Unless we have specific lighting scenarios that we need to gather reference for and do studies for, this is kind of the base to start from. Something that I saw a video essay on YouTube. Who'd have thunk it? It was a person who does like color grading and stuff, and they were talking about like how making sure that for visual effects purposes, every shot can be way more easily composited and they can change stuff whenever, leads the actual things, like when they're filming, very diffuse lighting that makes everything be very bland and you don't get the full range of darkest darks to lightest lights.
I want contrast. I want this to be dark. I don't want to see everything here. This is what makes the image feel cinematic. It's this contrast between the bright parts and the dark parts.
And that's part of the reason is because cameras are so good these days at capturing everything that you have to do extra steps to get things to be back to having that full range of values. And that's part of what color grading is. Also, if you do clear, that is the eraser. It erases, especially if you're using like a really textured brush or something, you get the edges of that brush. Wow, you can really see where we started, huh? Something to note when you're working all in one layer is you want to work from back to front. Way easier than having to draw around things and stuff. Atmospheric perspective, the things closest will be just value-wise probably darker. And then as they recede, like this stuff would be pretty light. Sometimes you're like, oh, I want to lighten the ground because that'll make it be better. But really you have to darken the areas around it so that the light pops more. Yeah, ooh, I like using the kind of bluer color dodge because then you get the, to stay in the same tones. So I think we're gonna be doing that more over here, especially when we are making this be like dark as night kind of thing going on. The pool is kind of luminescent, and so the light would be reflecting on that. That's just to put the ideas down, not to get the visual closer to the final product. There's a lot of thinking and decision making and everything. It's very interesting. It works a different part of your brain than doing other stuff. I did a video on TikTok really late last night because I was just so excited to find this timeline view, and it's been so helpful already in just like visualizing the story in general, like, and it makes so much sense. This feels good. We're getting the idea across. This is just the first pass. This lighting doesn't have to like make sense. This is gonna be all just artsy fartsy and pink. Ooh, oh, accident. Happy little accident. What if it starts warming from her heart? Oh, that's so cheesy. I love it. Give me the color dodge. I like that idea. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I just knew I wanted a pink. Look at that. I really like the use of this like peachy pink for like hope and light and stuff that we're developing. I had made note of that when we did our mood board kind of thing with all the reference images and we were studying the colors and everything. Okay, this was awesome. We got a lot of ideas down. This was great. This is ideas past day one. I have a feeling I know a lot of the lighting keys that would be helpful for piecing out. We had a few happy accidents that led to understanding how color is going to connect to our story better. So everything that we could have wanted to happen has happened, except for getting it done. That would be awesome, but it takes time, takes a lot of decision making. And also some of the parts that we don't know, that's going to be to tackle, but we'll get there. Thanks for coming. Have a wonderful day. Bye. End.